Yeah, this is a really long story.
Oh boy.
The story of Sisyphus, to my knowledge, is about the king of Corinth named Sisyphus,
who decided that he wanted to anger the gods and prove that he's better than them.
I don't exactly remember what he did.
Now I cannot remember if it's because he tried to trick death,
I keep mixing him up with Tantalus, so it's not the guy that fed his sons.
or if it's because he fed the flesh of his son to the gods.
Death, in some stories, he was supposed to, shackle him and take him to the underworld.
Somewhere in the grand realm of Hades.
He basically pissed off the gods. Sisyphus was really clever, and he said, hey, why don't you show me how these work? And so then Death put them on instead and got shackled.
And of course the gods found out.
So of course the famous part that we know is that
When they finally get him to the underworld, he is punished for being so clever and tricky, and he has to
Push up a boulder
up a mountain,
over and over and over again.
and every time he gets to the top,
because the mountain did not have a flat top.
he lets it slip and it falls back and it rolls to the bottom.
The boulder would roll right back down
It just keeps falling back down.
He has to do it all over again.
for all of eternity.
The beginning of every quarter at K College is the boulder being at the bottom, and you just have to push it back up.
A lot of people would say a metaphor for Sisyphus on campus is the schoolwork that we have to go through.
K college students have this work super hard and then do it all over again every 10 weeks mentality.
And then you get to the top and finals are over, and then the next quarter starts and it rolls back to the bottom, and you would just keep doing that forever until you graduate.
I guess this quarter in particular, there's a lot of music projects, composition projects, so I guess for me it's less of this one massive metaphorical boulder and more like having a whole swarm of little boulders that I all have to keep rolling them uphill at the same time. I mean, part of what made the original story of Sisyphus, the really important part wasn't that he was cursed to do something really difficult. He was cursed to have something that cycled forever and kept going and repeated. Both jobs and K College workload is all about this kind of cyclical repetition of things.
My metaphorical boulder, I don't know if it really has anything to do with K right now. It kind of has to do more about my identity, more specifically my gender identity. I am non-binary, and recently questioning that sort of thing. It's kind of like every time you have a realization about yourself, you're like, oh, but then something happens and the boulder rolls back down to the bottom, and you're like, now I have to keep working and push this fucking boulder up the hill all over again so I can figure out who I am, what I am, how I identify, what makes me most comfortable. And that also is a lot of work, but work I want to do.
For me, the real Sisyphus is my mental illness, because it's not something that's going to go away. I don't see it ending anytime soon. I don't see it going away anytime soon. When I was younger, I thought, can't just Sisyphus leave the boulder be and just lie down on ground and, I don't know, do something else? But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that Sisyphus is doomed to do this forever, and in that sense, just like the way I can't just be happy, I need to carry it. I need to carry it.
Everything you do, you have to be very dedicated to it. There's no slowing down, or even though Certain classes, they try to account for the other workloads or jobs you may have. There's no way that they can, and you have to put in a lot of effort very consistently into everything. And it can be very overwhelming sometimes. Worthwhile overall, but still very strenuous. I think that's the whole point of the Sisyphus myth, is that you have to keep working. And while it's this horrible punishment in Hades in this story, I don't know if it is this horrible punishment in life here, because we constantly are having to push ourselves as a boulder. You have to push yourself to keep growing consistently, and so you're always going to be working towards something you're never going to fully reach. But what does it mean to reach it?
At the end of the day, the fact that I can come to this college and have the privilege to study what I love, like I love biology, as nerdy and as geeky as that sounds. I love nature, and there's so few of us who can say that. And it's a happy dilemma that I think about when I think about the future, although it's terrifying.
It'll be hard, as all quarters have been, but it'll be fine.